Ladies, road rage. Ladies and road rage. Haven't had many of those. It's usually reserved for the male counterparts. All right, Miss Hill, each of you claimed that the other was responsible for an accident that occurred. You are also claiming that you were injured as a result of Miss Evans' actions. Miss Evans says that the injuries, if any, that you sustained were a result of your own actions, and that despite the fact that she took a plea that included an assault, the assault had absolutely nothing to do with the injuries that you are claiming. She says that she pled guilty to pulling your hair and leaving the scene of an accident, which she freely acknowledges she did in an attempt to get away from you, who she alleges was a crazy person and responsible for the damage to her car. So, when did this incident take place? What time? Where were you going?
I was on my way home after leaving work. I had dinner with a friend. It was 4:30 in the afternoon on November 8th, 2011. I was traveling southbound on 20.
Where do you live?
In Norman, Oklahoma.
So you were in Oklahoma?
Yes, ma'am.
Traveling on?
I was traveling southbound on 24th Avenue Southeast.
I don't know where that is. Is it a two-lane highway? Is it a big...
It's a 4-lane road, ma'am.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm a banker.
Anybody else in the car with you?
No, ma'am.
Okay, what kind of car were you driving?
I was driving a 2001 Firebird at the time.
Okay, go.
I was doing about 45 miles an hour, and there was traffic stopping in the left-hand lane to turn into a housing addition that did not have a turn lane. Miss Evans cut me off because she did not want to stop for that traffic, and she nearly clipped the front end of my car. I honked my horn one time, and after I did that, she began slamming on her brakes. Since I was going at a high rate of speed, I was easily able to pass her and get back in front of her.
So you passed her and got in front of her?
I passed her and went back into the lane that I was in, yes, ma'am.
But you passed her and got in front of her?
Yes. She did not like that, I guess, because she proceeded to get back in front of me again and began slamming on her brakes again. At this point is when I became irritated. The first time it happened, you know, a road rage incident, they happen all the time. But this woman, I feel, tried to kill me.
What kind of car were you driving, Miss Evans?
Nissan 2000, Nissan Ford Ranger.
It was a 2000 Nissan Frontier.
What kind of car was she driving?
She was driving a 2000 Nissan Pickup.
A truck?
It's a small one. It's not real big.
Just sit. Thank you very much, sir. Go ahead.
I pulled up beside her. I did roll down my window and was like, what is your problem? I mean, she was trying to cause an accident that I did not particularly want to be involved in, and her passenger and she were cussing. He was flipping me off. So I tried to get away. I pulled out in front.
Pulled out in front of her?
No, I continued driving south on that road. I turned right at Imhoff Road, which I live off of. It's where my housing addition comes to. When I turned right, she turned right from the left-hand lane because she was attempting again to get in front of me.
Don't tell me what she was attempting to do, but she followed you into that street.
Yes, ma'am. When I turned, she also turned from the left-hand lane. She turned right. I had been trying to get her license plate, but the tailgate on her truck was down. I was defensive driving, so I was pulling over to call the police. I had a brand new iPhone. I'd only had it for a month or so. Don't place a lot of calls. I do most of my communication through texting, and couldn't figure out how to push the call button on my phone. I had 911 plugged in a couple of times, but when I turned to pull over, she rear-ended me. After she rear-ended me...
When you say she rear-ended you, did your cars collide?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, when you say you pulled over, did you pull over to a dead stop, or were you still moving?
I pulled over and stopped.
So she hit your car while it was stopped?
Yes, ma'am.